5, 2, 3, you can see in the ELT the learning target is I can factor a quadratic expression when A is not equal to 1. So this is it here. Rule number 1, write it on your paper, has not changed. Rule number 1 of factoring is always what? Oh, that was terrible. Rule number 1 of factoring is always what? GCF. Alright, so here's your first example. This one doesn't have a GCF. But they will, and they can. And you need to be prepared for it to have a GCF. You always need to be thinking GCF, 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 GCF. This problem, you look across, you scan it, you got a 3, a 10, and a 7. Does it have a GCF? No, but it could. So if it doesn't have a GCF, if A does not equal 1, then this is the procedure. Okay? If you can pull a GCF out, right? If it's got 2x squared plus 4x plus 4, let's just say, and you pull a 2 out, and you got x squared plus 2x plus 2, what is A equal to? A is equal to what? 1. You don't do this trick on that problem. That problem, you do your 7 steps, just like we taught you last week in 5.2.1. Okay? But if A is not equal to 1, if there's no GCF, then these are your steps. Okay? First step, multiply A times C. Rewrite your trinomial as x squared plus 10x plus 21. Multiply A times C. Write that down. First step is to multiply A times C. Rewrite your trinomial. Rewrite your trinomial. All right. Go sit down. All right, so we multiply A times C. Then, now, what is A equal to? What is A equal to now in our new trinomial?
1.
A is equal to 1. So we factor just like we factored last week. We do all of these 7 steps, which should be getting more and more automatic to you. What do our signs have to be if that one's positive and that one's positive? X plus and X plus. Why is that so easy? Because A is equal to 1. Okay, A is equal to 1, we can go ahead and write those things in there. Okay, what are the factors of 21 that have something to do with 10?
73.
That should be almost automatic to you guys. And if it's not, you need to come to some tutoring. Right? If that's not jumping out at you that 7 and 10 are our factors, then you need to come to tutoring. Okay, because it should be pretty obvious that that's 3 and that's 7. Now order doesn't matter. I could have put the 7 there and the 3 there. Makes no difference. Okay? Now what? What do we do in that first step? Tell me again what I did in that first step. What did I do? I multiplied A times C. So to undo that, what do you think I'm going to do?
Divide.
I'm going to divide this by A, and I'm going to divide this by A. Write that down. Divide both of those by A to undo that first step. Then I need all eyes on the board, because this is where students make their mistakes. Victoria, you got everything you need? You want a calculator? Graphing calculator? Okay. Here's where you make your mistakes. You better eyes up here. You better pay attention. If this number will go into this number evenly, then you do it and you simplify. What is 3 into 3? 1. So this just becomes x plus 1. Keep your eyes up here. Does 3 go into 7 evenly? Yes, I know it divides. You get 2 and a third. But does it go in evenly? Is 7 a multiple of 3? No, it's not. So 3 does not go into 7 evenly, so watch what happens. I simply take it and I write it right there. And my answer is 3x plus 7 times x plus 1. How do we check it to know without a doubt that we got the right answer? Still on the board, what do we do? Check using what? FOIL. And now, when you're doing this, you probably need to do FOIL, all 4 letters. Okay, watch. What is x times 3x? 3x squared. What is x times 7? 7x. What is 1 times 3x? 3x. What is 1 times 7? 7. Combine your like terms. What's 7x and 3x give you? 10x. Is that what you wanted in the middle? Yes, it is. So does it check? Yes, it checks. We check using the FOIL method. There's no reason for you to not get a 100 on the quiz on Friday. Every single problem you can check. Okay, questions? Any questions? All right, let's do another example. Any questions before I erase? I'll do it over here because I see some of you still writing it down. All right, here's your next example. 5x squared plus 11x plus 2. First step. Great. I'm glad that you said that. What is always, the first step? Greatest common factor. Does this problem have a greatest common factor? No, it does not. So you move to step 2. What is step 2? Well, what is A in this case? 5. Right? A is 5. 5, there's no GCF, right? That's not 1. So I can't look at signs or whatever. I need to multiply 5 times 2. So I get x squared plus 11x plus 10. Right? 5 times 2 is 10. I multiplied A times C. Now what? Now it's pretty easy. Right? What does this factor into? X and x plus and plus. What are the factors of 10 that add up to 11? 1. I'm going to put 10 there and 1 there. Makes no difference because they're both positive. What did I do in my first step? I multiplied by what? 5. What am I going to do to undo that? What do I divide? I divide this term by 5 and I divide this term by 5. Divide both of them by the original A. Alright, how about 10 over 5? Does that simplify? Yes. Into what? 2. X plus 2. How about over here? No. Does 5 go into positive 1? No. So what is this binomial going to be? 5x. 5x what? Plus 1. Plus 1. Very good. How do we check it? FOIL. First, outside, inside, last. And it checks. Okay? Trust me, it checks. Now, our first example, A was equal to 3. Is 3 prime? Yes. Yes. Our second example, A was equal to 5. Is 5 prime? Yes. Both of those are pretty easy. What happens as A gets bigger, 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 and composite? What happens to the problem? It gets a little harder. There's more simplification involved. Okay, let's do another example where A is composite, like 4 or 6 or 8 or 10 or 9. Okay? Any number that's not prime, it's going to get harder and harder and harder. It's not impossible. There's just more simplification involved. Questions before I move on? All right, try this one. 6x squared minus 13x. I think it's minus 8. I know you're ready to try one on your own, but watch me do this one. Okay, just continue to watch me, and then I'll let you practice on the next one. First step is always what? Does this problem have a GCF? 6, 13, and 8. Is there a GCF? No. So I multiply A times C. Because A is not equal to 1, I go ahead and multiply it times C. So I got x squared minus 13x minus 48. Okay, then I start factoring. Right, I look at my second sign, it's negative. That tells me that I have x plus and x minus. I break down 48. 48's not easy. There's a lot of factors. 48 and 1, 24 and 2, 12 and 4, 16 and 3, 8 and 6. Okay? Which one of those factors has something to do with 13? Specifically negative 13. 16 and 3. Right, so I want negative 48 as the product, and I want negative 13 as the sum. Which two factors? Well, y'all said 16 and 3. Which one needs to be positive? Which one needs to be negative to give me negative 13? I need negative 16 and I need positive what? 3. Those two numbers multiply to give me the product, of negative 48, they add to give me a sum of negative 13. So over here I put positive 3 and I put negative 16. Right? You've got to be a pro at factoring when a is equal to 1 to even attempt this method. You can't be wishy-washy. Okay, so the first step I multiplied by 6. What am I going to do now? You better be watching and paying attention. Divide that by 6 and divide that by 6. This is where students mess up. Because a is a bigger number, it's composite, there's a lot of simplification going on. Write this in your notes. You must simplify these fractions. Right? The TI won't do it for you. The Casio used to do it for us, but we can't use the Casio anymore. So you've got to simplify your fractions. What does 3 over 6 simplify into? 1/2. Okay? What does 16 over 6 simplify into? Take a 2 out of each one. 8 over 3. You can't miss that. Okay, if you type it in the TI, you get a decimal. So that's not going to help you. You've got to simplify your fractions. Now that you simplify your fractions, what numbers come up to the top? What does this change into? What is this in our answer? What happens to the 2? It goes right there. So what do I get? 2x plus 1. Very good. How about 3 into 8? Does that go evenly? No, it does not. So the 3 goes right there. And I get 3x minus 8. Let's check it. 2x times 3x is 6x squared. 2x times negative 8 is negative 16x. 1 times 3 is positive 3x. 1 times negative 8 is negative 8. These two add and give you negative 13x, which is exactly what you wanted in your original equation. Questions? What was different about this problem? Well, you had to simplify this into this. If you just went and put a 6 there, and you said 6x plus 3, you're going to get it wrong. It makes your problem too big. Same thing here. If you put the 6 right there and you said 6x minus 16, you're going to get it wrong. So I hope you wrote in your notes, simplify your fractions. You have to simplify your fractions. Finished? Okay. Good job. Questions? Anybody have any questions?